So hey folks, we're back here over an unannounced video to talk about the most overrated freaking garbage niche bullet NWO ripoff 2% garbage I've ever seen in my life. It's the Bullet Club. I hate it. I hate it how it represents. I hate how it's declined the stability of actually making a cool factor in wrestling, and it has done less to emphasize any change in the momentum of pro wrestling. It's the most nichest way to try to at least garner at least some popularity over certain guys, not in a credibility sense to grow their brand, because Bullet Club originated in New Japan, and with Finn Balor, and with Luke Gallows, Bad Luck Fale. Like no one cares. They've garnered over popularity over the design of their T-shirt. They rip off gestures over from other popular groups like DX and the NWO. Their theme song is the most forgettable Bullet Club. Like, what you're gonna bump more? The Bullet Club. No one's going to ever bump to that. Like, you'll at least be in public and you can, like, probably bump the Wolfpack theme song. You can bump the NWO because people know what the NWO is. And DX, if you know, like, an old school fan, or at least some people that heard of what D-Generation X is. Because there's mainstream credibility over the Gardner of, because DX and NWO were cool. What's really the garnering cool factor of the Bullet Club? Most of them are primarily indie dudes that possibly nobody ever known. Their leaders have been the most least threatening and primarily way lighter, or at least looked in the junior heavyweight division, or like a light heavyweight out of most of the other guys in the group. Tama Tonga looks bigger than most of his previous leaders, and shows to be more charismatic, more edgy, and just more fun to watch, or more interesting to listen to than frickin' AJ Styles, Finn Balor, Kenny Omega, and just now Jay White. I don't even care who the current leader is going to be later on because I heard he's going to leave. Possibly to screw up NXT. So that's practically about it. There's no cool factor over the subjugation of a guy who just kicks in most of his arsenal. Another guy that's just indie ability but some entertainment factor that will permanently make him mid-card. And Kenny Omega. Yeah, that's all I got for him. And oh god, Jay White. It's just all I know is he symbolizes his logo with a tally mark, and that's exactly what the fans use to count how many times they need until they have to live after watching another Jay White match. Nothing's interesting about these characters. There's no definable over trait with these characters. What's cool about the Bullet Club? All I know is Carl Anderson cheats on his wife. They like talking about dicks. They rip off gestures from other popular factions like the Suck It Chop, Say Suck It. That's the most markish garbage ever, and they profit upon it. And guess what? It's over the minority of the fan base, or at least the minority of people that watch wrestling. And guess what? Over the factor, nobody wants to be like them. Nobody wants to be like a Kenny Omega. Nobody wants to be like a Jay White, a Taiji Ishimori. Nobody wants to be whoever Takahashi is. Bad Luck Fale that just looks like a fucking tan. Sorry about cussing, but he just looks like a tan doughboy. He looks like a Pillsbury doughboy that spent a bit too much time in the oven with a freaking mohawk on his head. He looks like a midget. I mean, he looks like a freaking cooked dumpling. Nobody wants that. Like, you had who on the NWO? You had fun. Who did you have on DX? I can even start with that because it's the shortest one. You had at least Rick Rude, China that looks completely different from anybody else in the Divas division from back then. You had Billy Gunn. You had the over trash talker, good charisma, and always had good crowd reaction like Road Dogg, Shawn Michaels, and Triple H. These are like pop culture dudes. The NWO. Like star power around the bat. Sting. I'm counting Wolfpack. Scott Hall. Anybody wanted to be Scott Hall. Anybody wanted to be Kevin Nash because he had long hair, looked tall, can talk, and can beat guys like Goldberg or Sting whenever he had the chance to. The Giant. Hulk Hogan. No plethora over star power or like the major of pop culture relevance made a difference over as like the NWO and DX has been. And most of like they're literally just an indie NWO with no charisma or edge to actually make them interesting other than one time when they assault people in New Japan in certain matches. So they just cheat in the ring. Many other groups do that. Most of the guys in the Bullet Club don't even succeeded as well as technically AJ Styles. That's practically it. What is he, like a two-time WWE champion at this point of his career? And most of what I'm seeing, Kenny Omega is now an AEW World Champion that garners the lowest amount of viewership for AEW, and it's been over the flat line since like middle 2020, early to middle 2020. The Young Bucks suck, even though they're tag team champions for their own fed. Even when the Bullet Club was like in the most smarkiest support, they were garnering at least over only like a measly over 200,000 viewers to 100,000. They were garnering lower viewership than Impact Wrestling is doing currently in New Japan's former broadcasting channel from Access Television. Impact is literally doing more than New Japan, and that's without Bullet Club. They were garnering more of a viewership without even the AEW fan base. I mean AEW invasion. What is that telling you about how the Bullet Club has really progressed to really popularize any semblance of New Japan, Ring of Honor, or whatever the hell they're doing now that I don't even know if this is even going to subjugate some semblance of any garnership of a fan base increasing. Because no one knows who Kenta is. No one knows who Jay White is. No one's gonna know who Anderson and Gallows are just jobbers over from WWE with no semblance of their own identity. Kenny Omega sucks. He likes putting his fingers up his ass while wrestling little children. He keeps no selling over German suplexes most of the time, and like takes him at least 5 minutes until he actually thinks of some psychology other than when to boot up a match. Like he shows more like emphasis over with a Carl, like a simple lockup than anything else. This guy really sucks, and he has no either identity other than he's a weeaboo, high striking, prolifically acclaimed wrestler. Even though most of the U.S. population don't even know which match to remember or hear about unless you have to watch one that's gonna be freaking 50 minutes long. And yet you're telling me that these guys are supposed to be like the Bullet Club is supposed to be like the tier of like, okay, Four Horsemen, Main Event Mafia, NWO, D-Generation X. What? What legitimacy is that? You can't even put that over on a list. Like the Bullet Club is just a niche indie faction of just guys who make backhanded comments on a company they could barely even last a half a decade in, except Luke Gallows, because at least he has size. And other than that, they can't even subjugate that much of a consistent viewership. So that tells you that they can't even grow a small growing federation like New Japan Pro Wrestling to try to expand their fan base other than other than Japan. So they can suck at that. So they suck at that. Thinks nobody even knows how to watch them. Bullet Club sucks. I'm not saying this to be any anti-smart guy. I just be hearing too much stuff about stuff nobody else be talking about. No one ever like Imperium. Undisputed Era is more profitable than whatever the hell the Bullet Club has. And those are niche factions as well. At least they garner some semblance of a fan base, and I can actually take like okay, they have potential. Like Adam Cole, you can say much, but I can use Adam Cole to be a mid carder. I can use Kyle O'Reilly to be this fun-loving, hardworking mid carder, or have a tag team Roderick Strong to kill himself, and Imperium, and just hire Walter and just get him into the gym so he stopped looking like a big fat baby. And you can see potential in that. I haven't seen any luck on why in the hell people are like making these dream matches of okay, the Bullet Club versus anybody of the NWO. NWO 2000 is more of a threat than the current Bullet Club right now. You can appoint me over a fanboy for whatever you want, but the declining days of WCW when they were doing back in early 2000 when they were just stuck with Bret Hart, Kevin Nash, Scott Steiner, and Jeff Jarrett, we're still garnering more of a consistent following other than whatever like you think was peak Bullet Club from like 2014 to 2016 over from New Japan. And that's not just hate, it's a fact. This is opposing viewpoint. I'm probably not the only one who has this type of opinion, and they could explain it a bit more than I do. But that's technically how I feel, because I don't think like they'll have any mainstream relevance come if they ever split up in the next couple of years. Only the vocal minority will ever be trying to scream for them to even reunite if they do. They garner a niche following over for just merchandise to be shared in like places like Hot Topic, or guys that think like taking a break is like a temporary breakup to sleep with another person or an excuse to kill themselves. No, I don't think anybody like with at least a respectable personality goes to Hot Topic. It's just my opinion. They have no star power. They have no actual legitimate way to expand. None of them have an identifiable character, cool factor, or charisma to actually garner what they have. They have weird neckbeards. They don't have athletes, real wrestling or old wrestling fans interested in the product. They can't sell. They have no memorable wrestling matches, and they're just forgettable. And they're interchangeable. So the Bullet Club have no identifiable look other than just their stupid T-shirts. And by God, they just rip off stuff from other factions so they don't have an identifiable little look or any semblance of what tears them apart from okay, they do the suck it thing, they do the click thing even though it's from a different group that's more popular, more profitable, and plus they don't even have a little bit of relationship other than some of them used to work for the company. Yet that still doesn't give them the excuse to do the too sweet thing. Even Triple H, by himself, buried the company. Over like, oh, when we did this, this was actually cool. And he was right. Even though I don't like his direction, what he's doing with NXT, he's right that he was there when there was a boom period for this type of stuff. Now it's so niche, it's embarrassing to even get in a public conversation whenever talking about fake fighting. I mean, professional wrestling. Do I think Bullet Club has potential? No. Do I think they should have broke up a couple of years ago? Yes. Do I think any guys that even if they leave would make any potential growth from this? No. Probably. I guess Gorillas of Destiny. They called God. How cool! They are so cool. Oh God, they're terrible. I guess Tama Tonga and Tonga Loa, you can make like former like Samoan SWAT team group from this, I guess. I mean, Inner Circle sounds more legit. I mean, at least you got a guy from Bellator, you have former LAX multi-time tag team guys, and Chris Jericho. Minus Sammy Guevara. So, and MJF. So, at least you can tear apart, okay, some of these guys can talk. Some of these are like Latino cool ass hood wrestlers. Okay, I remember who Chris Jericho is. And oh my god, Jack Swagger, he did MMA, and plus we know his amateuristic background. So I can take him as a legitimate guy. Inner Circle's more credible than Bullet Club that's been there longer. They are a joke, niche, jobber, NWO, and if you like them, I don't question if you like them, and I hope you do. If you have such an enjoyment watching them, it's not my taste, but it is yours, and I'm happy you found yours. But I just feel like you probably need to go to the doctor or something. But that's all I have for this video. Bullet Club sucks. In conclusion, that was the intro. The body, Bullet Club sucks. The ending, the conclusion, with some sources on the side. Bullet Club sucks. That's practically it.